Round 16, best buys for NRL Fantasy. We've got some big options this week, a big week of footy. Big thing to note here is that you only have 13 starters that are going to count for you this week. So make sure you've got trades that are working with that. Guys on the bench aren't going to count, even in that sort of 14, 15, 16, 17 spot as they do in usual weeks. So only that starting 13. Get that in mind. But if you do need a hooker, first up here, Damien Cook, 714K is at a great price point, 52.5 average. I would grade him about an A here. So Damien Cook's upside is the highest of all hookers right now. Even a guy like Harry Grant, for example, isn't standing up against Damien Cook. It appears that Cook has the big attacking flair that's going to get him into a 60 average, whereas no one else is even comparing. The other thing to note here is that Damien Cook is available for round 16 and round 19 major buy rounds. So he offers coverage that is basically unmatched here. For Damien Cook, the only concerns are two things. One, round 17 buy, and two, Marmazelis on the bench and the fact that he is that future hooker for South Sydney. So if they do fall out of the finals race, he may get more and more minutes, which will eat into Damien Cook's minutes, reducing his fantasy effectiveness. Number 2 here, Stefano Utokamanu. Now, this guy's at 674K. Really good price point. Same average as Cook, 52.5 average. The Tigers don't have a buy for ages, right? So you can plug this guy into your team. He's going to keep on pumping out big scores for you no matter what here. He'll just keep on rolling. The one thing that's really boosting him right now is the fact that Tigers have so many players out. So you got Dave Clemmer out, John Bateman, Isaiah Papali'i, Alex Twal right now as well. A lot of these starters for the Tigers are currently out, which means that Tokamanu is shouldering a huge burden. So last week he put up a massive score, 80 plus score. This week we'll look at him again against the Raiders here. There's a chance that he does that again, right? He's going to be asked to shoulder a big burden this week. Tigers have named a very inexperienced bench. I could see Stefano Utokamanu being a good captain option this week, and at 674K, it's a great price point for a guy with very good buys. Now, if you do want that season-long keeper instead, Utokamanu is probably not a guy that you want in your final roster. So if you're on low trade counts there and you're feeling okay for round 19 already, Fanua Blake is another option here. He's about 90K more expensive. He's got a 57-point average. It's about a 5-point up average. And Fanua Blake is a guy who's up against the Titans team this week who are missing Jamin Jolliffe. They're missing Cleese Haas. They're missing Tino, obviously. They're missing... who else we got out? We've got a couple more guys. Mo Fodawaker's out for Origin as well. There's quite a few guys missing from this pack. So it means that Fanua Blake, I think, is a big chance of rolling through the middle here, grabbing a try and scoring 70 plus in this game against the Titans. At 765K, it's a fine price. It's not overs. It's not unders. It's probably a little cheap compared to what he was before, but I think he's at a great price point, so it's an A grade for me. These Warriors players are going to ride through this Origin period. Next up, Ewan Aitken, 794K. He's very expensive, 56.5 average. We have him here because he's the top center in fantasy, right? So Dolphins players, they play round 16 and round 19. You got a chance to get this guy who's the top center in fantasy. He's a keeper. He's very expensive, probably too expensive for me right now. But other than that, he's basically the perfect option. So if you need a center and you've got cash to spend, go get Ewan Aitken. Saying that, keep it in mind that we probably want to get Nico Hines next week. We probably want to get Nathan Cleary in a few weeks as well. So I'm personally looking to save a bit more cash on this and not grab Ewan Aitken. But if you want that keeper center, he is an A1 Div 1 option at that position. And finally, James Tedesco is the fifth option here on our buy list. 708K, look, 50.3 averages at the wing fullback spot. He's a borderline keeper. So there's guys like Dylan Edwards, guys like Latrell Mitchell, Kalen Ponga, Reece Walsh are all in that picture as well. And it's just up to you whether you view Tedesco as a keeper. For me, I view him as a keeper. I've got him as an A- grade here because he's priced at about what he's worth. But he is a keeper option. He plays this week. Saying that, I was talking to Biz on the podcast. He doesn't view Teddy as a keeper, so he thinks it's a weaker option here instead. Teddy, for mine, he'll go well against the Dogs this week. I wouldn't captain him this week necessarily. I think Fafita is that best captain. But I think Tedesco is a very worthy option. If you've got the cash to spend at wing fullback, go get him this week. Anyway, that is our top 5 buys for round 16. Hopefully it was useful. Best luck this week. Try to get yourself 13 players this week. That's the big goal there. If you can do that, you're going to move up the ranks. Good luck.